Hey, everybody, welcome into another edition of the Parenting Puzzle Podcast with Dr. Daniela Owen. How are you doing today, Dr. D?
I'm doing great, Jake. How are you?
I'm doing well. My itchiness is on the mend.
Yes.
So, yep. The ant bites have basically gone away now. I've turned them all into like little scabs on my leg. So there's some blood there, but it's gonna be fine. It's fine. I kept itching. Yeah, I kept itching. So
For the record, Sarah, I suggested ice, but Jake insisted that he was just going to keep scratching till these. Anyway.
Definitely not the way to go.
Sarah's probably not surprised by that analogy. She's got to know me
No.
pretty well. Yeah, I just itched at them until they stopped itching. So welcome to the podcast. Yeah, that's what people listen to.
Hi.
Yeah. Sarah was probably, why is he talking about ants right off the jump? Okay. But yeah, welcome to another edition of the Parenting Puzzle Podcast. I'm excited about today's episode. We have an amazing guest on with us. Not only is she a superstar at home, in the workforce, where she leads a huge team. She's got an amazing following on TikTok where everybody just loves her and adores her. She's just a superstar. So, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. How are you
You're
doing?
welcome. I'm good today. How are you, other than your ant bites?
Oh, they're doing better. I mean, they're bleeding a little bit, but they're doing better. They're doing better. So that's good news about the ant bites. But no, we're so happy to have you on. And what I kind of told you about a little bit when we were talking about you coming on the podcast, our podcast is all about getting useful information that's practical and easy to implement for parents out there into the world. So that's all we focus on is Dr. D sharing these tips that we think are going to be useful to the whole audience. And that's why I'm excited about today's podcast, because I think you really have a question that can apply to a lot of people in our audience. And hopefully at the end of this thing, you get something out of it as well that you could take back to your family and make things just a little bit easier. Parenting's hard, full stop. That's like our catchphrase, Sarah. Once we make money, we'll make shirts. But eventually we're going to try to make some shirts. And that'll be all. And we'll like wear them on the podcast and stuff. That'd be fantastic. Look at us, that's great ideas. So we'll start this way. Sarah, how about you just kind of introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, that kind of stuff, and then we'll take it from there.
My name is Sarah. I am from Minnesota. I have a wonderful husband and two beautiful boys, 9 and 5, and they keep me pretty active. Keep me very active. My oldest is diagnosed autistic, and my youngest is a hurricane. He's all over the place. That's my life.
Yeah, I feel the same way about my 3-year-old. He's just like constant energy, like
Yep.
he's like all over the place.
Exactly how it is.
Like never-ending energy, never-ending. As parents sometimes, and this is not off topic, but we don't have that much energy. So when the kids are like, I'm just like, man, can you give me some of that energy? That would be fantastic. But they haven't transferred. They haven't done this thing where like you could like transfer energy from one person to another, right? Like, let me just get a little bit of that juice. But
I'd sign up.
Yeah. Oh,
I'd sign up.
All right. So Sarah, you came on. You obviously have a question, and we have the amazing Dr. D, who is not only like a best-selling author. Her next series that's coming out will probably be a New York Times bestseller. We're just putting that into existence right now.
So.
Put it out there.
Professor, just do it all, everything. So we'll turn it over to you. You have a question. Hopefully Dr. D can help with it.
My question is, with my youngest is 5 and my oldest is 9. My oldest is the one that's diagnosed with autism and ADHD. My 5-year-old is in love with my oldest. That is his world. Mm-hmm. Everything my oldest does, my youngest wants to be side by side, video games, everything. That's his best friend in the whole wide world. Well, my oldest was trained by all his people that stand behind him. Set your boundaries. If you're overstimulated, step out. If you're done, you need a minute, take a minute, express your feelings, put those boundaries up. My 5-year-old doesn't understand that. And I don't know how to explain to him that brother needs a minute, and that's what he has, and that it's okay. He likes you, but right now he needs a minute. because it's really hurting my 5-year-old's feelings. And it's he expresses either he gets really emotional, he cries, or he has really big outbursts on it. And I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah, this is such a good question. In part because, as you pointed out, your oldest is doing exactly what he's been taught to do to help protect him and make good choices for himself. And then your youngest is taking it personally, right? So what's benefiting your oldest son, and actually indirectly your younger son, but he's too young to realize that, is hurting your younger son, right? So it's not like, oh, just stop doing this thing, you're hurting your brother's feelings. It's like, oh, keep doing this thing, and oops, it's hurting your brother's feelings, right? So that's what makes this such a good and complicated question that you're asking. So the thing that I think would be most helpful is to figure out some ways for your youngest to be less negatively impacted when your older child sets the boundary. Because we want him to keep setting that boundary. We know for neurodivergent kids that getting in tune with that overstimulation and that overactivation, and exiting the situation sooner actually helps them maintain control and balance, and that's good for everyone in the family, right? Especially them. So we really want him to keep doing that, and by the way, kudos to him that he's doing that. So for your younger son, the first thing is, because he's young, that concept of what's happening is complicated. And so you might try to think of if there's a way that he can kind of understand it that would sit better with him, right? So like, for example, you might try to use an analogy of volume for him. Like, think about if you're listening to a song that you love, but the music is on too loud, even though you love the song, it doesn't feel good when you're listening to something at too loud of a volume. And so if we can turn the volume off, or sometimes even just turn the music off altogether for a little bit, that can feel better for us. And so even though his older brother loves him and loves hanging out with him and loves playing with him, if it starts to get too loud for his older brother in his older brother's head, when he says he's going to stop or take a break or leaves, that's his version of turning down the volume so that he feels better. It doesn't mean he stops loving the song or the music. It just means he needs to do something at that moment that's going to help him feel a little bit better. And I wonder if you think your 5-year-old might understand that, or you might even test it out, like listening to a song he likes at a regular comfortable volume and then turning it up at, don't you want to just kind of do this? That's like what your brother's doing when he's taking a break. So do you think your 5-year-old would resonate with that at all?
Oh yeah, my 5-year-old sings all the time. He loves music. Yeah.
Okay. So just
That's
that
his thing.
Okay, that was lucky.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I thought
too.
too.
Most 5-year-olds love music. So
Yeah.
it was a good guess. It was a good guess. But also they listen to music.
Great at singing. Yeah.
And he's great at singing. Okay,
Yeah.
great. And does he ever get so excited that he sings so loud that people do this?
All the time.
So you can even say to him, you know you're great at singing. We love your singing. But sometimes when you get too excited and it's too loud, we have to cover our ears. We need a little break from that loudness. But it's not because we don't love your singing. It's just because it's feeling like too much. And for your brother, sometimes things feel like too much. And so he's just taking that break so that he can actually handle the situation. So I would try that as far as sort of taking it away from feeling personal and helping him just try to connect to that feeling of being overstimulated. Because if he doesn't experience that, he doesn't know what that feels like, right? And we can't expect him to. So if there's some kind of analogy that and he might even, this is the thing I love about little kids, is that he might even come up with another analogy, like, that's also like this. And it's like, yes, that's exactly right. So even like eating your favorite food, like when you've had enough, sometimes you don't want to eat that anymore. Or, if you've eaten something enough nights in a row, even though you might like that thing, it might be like, all right, on night number 7 of pizza, it's like, all right, can we please get some chicken in here, right? Like that concept of when it's just too much, it can start to not feel pleasant, even though you love that thing, so that he still can feel like his brother loves him. Right. So that would be the first.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing. And then the second thing I would encourage you to do is to try to turn this into a little bit of a strength for your younger one. So brainstorm with him when his brother needs a break. What are solo things that he could do that he actually wants or likes, and kind of create a little go-to. And you might even write it out and post it somewhere. Like you can have pictures. So
kind of like a menu, Dr. D.
Exactly, kind of like a menu. So, like, let's say he loves Legos. I know Jake knows I like to talk about having a menu, but I like to talk about having a menu because it's hard in that emotional moment.
Yes.
Even if he starts thinking he's not rejecting me, he's just turning down the volume, he still feels, now I'm all alone and I don't get to do the thing I want to do most. And in that moment where he's having that big feeling, if he can go and look at something, say posted on the refrigerator with a picture of Legos and a picture of singing and a picture of a dance party, and he's like, oh, these are all things I could do on my own that I like doing on my own, then it will help him transition, and that moment that feels lonely and isolating won't have that same emotional impact on him. And I think it will make the blow feel a lot less heavy when, oh, he's going to take a break. I'm going to go do that thing that I do without him. Right. And so it's like, okay, it almost can cue him as like, okay, this is a moment for me to go do X, Y, or Z. And if he knows what those things can be ahead of time, or if there's somewhere where he can go and see a list or a menu of what those things might be, then it can help him do those things instead of just crumbling in those moments.
And that's what he does. We were talking to the menu as well, which I never thought of it since. Now I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it makes sense because you like have a list of things that you can say, okay, look, your brother needs a little bit of a break, right? But what are like let's look at the things that you really love to do and have fun with that maybe you don't need your brother for. Maybe it's Play-Doh or whatever. It doesn't really matter. The reason I brought up the menu thing because that's something we talked about for like summer boredom, right? It was like, hey, you're not in school. You need maybe a list of activities that you could do that we can easily bring out at any time. One thing Dr. D said that was useful just to add on to this is like, so you have the menu. So if you go to a restaurant and they have a menu, right? And you're like, man, I want this chicken Parmesan. And they're like, oh no, I can't make chicken Parmesan. You'd be like, dang, why is it on the menu? So we were just talking, like, part of the thing is like to make sure like he created the menu. Here's the 4 or 5 things you can do when your brother needs his time to decompress. You gotta make sure you have them available for him to do. Like you could cook it. You know what I'm saying?
He could definitely cook it by himself. He could definitely. He's independent too on his own. That's the funny thing about it. He's very independent.
But that I'm glad that you brought that up because that's not what's happening here. It's not that he's not independent. It's that when his brother is saying he needs space, it's not then causing him to go, oh, I'm independent. I can just go cook something for fun. It's going, oh, I feel rejected. He doesn't want to be with me. Now I'm sad. I can't think of anything else to do because I'm sad. Just like when we're so bored that we can't think of anything fun. But if I ask you to rattle off 5 things you like to do when you're not bored, you'll probably be able to do that easily. But when you are so bored, it's like nothing sounds good right now. I am bored to tears, right? And so that's the benefit of coming up with these things, because the fact that he is independent is going to make this strategy all that much more successful. And actually, hopefully, with some time and practice, if he knows that it's not intentionally rejecting him and trying to get away from him, that his brother loves him, he just needs a break. And then he can do something that's reinforcing and rewarding and interesting and fun for him that makes him feel good and confident because he's being independent. Now you've changed this whole circumstance from one in which your little feels bad about himself and the situation into one that he can actually feel good about himself. And of course, you can praise, hey, I see that you're playing Legos by yourself. I'm thinking you went and looked at your menu and came up with this because your big brother needed a break. Great job on doing that. Great job on being independent. I love seeing you taking that initiative. Now he's getting all this positive feedback in that circumstance, and that's encouraging him to want to do more of that in the future and feel good about himself.
You're right. You're definitely right on that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope this is helpful.
Kids love positive reinforcement too.
Oh, yeah. Mine shines with it.
Yeah.
Mine shines with it.
Sorry, Sarah, you were about to say something, and both Jake and I didn't realize, and we jumped in. What were you going to say? That is?
No, that is exactly, I think, what we do need to do with him. And it's going to build him to be a better adult, too, because he's going to, instead of being more messed up with being rejected, he's going to know how to twist it around, I think. I think you're right. Yeah. And we need to do something now.
It's true, because if he has that sort of sensitivity about him, and if he's just like a kid who tends to feel his emotions bigger, realizing that it doesn't necessarily have to be about him, and if he is able to do something else independently, and then when his brother's feeling better, they can go back to playing, he's going to actually get data that it wasn't about him, which is really useful. To your point with friends, like sometimes friends need a break, and if we're thinking, oh, they don't like me, they don't want to be our friends, and we keep going after them, then they're going to kind of get annoyed. But if we're like, all right, take your space, and then they come back and they're in a good mood the next day, then we're like, oh, it's not me, it was him. He was in a crummy mood. He needed to go home and rest. Then we don't end up taking it too personally when it's not about us. And that's good for us, exactly to your point, to start to develop that young, because that builds resilience and that builds confidence. That's
a great point, Sarah, because like even as adults, oh gosh, I can't even talk. Even as adults, you saw that delts? What's adults?
I just always assume it's your accent, Jake.
Yeah. Even as adults, like we could take things personally, like, oh, my boss, I don't know, maybe it's a boss or a friend or a spouse or they're either tired, hungry, or something that's making them not okay or stressed, and they are mean or just not, a situation wasn't handled properly. Even for us, like if maybe our cup isn't full enough, and so it's hard sometimes, even as an adult, to not take that personally. So I can understand why your little guy would be struggling with that, because even as an adult, I'm struggling with that word. Like we still take things personally that maybe we shouldn't, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Like I think that's going to be a great skill for your son to learn, because I'm 34, I'm still trying to learn that skill. So yeah,
it's a struggle.
The struggle is
real. Struggle.
It is, and I think we just made my little guy a little bit better.
Oh,
because we will do that.
Cool.
I hate when he cries. Like, it's sad, because now I know what to do.
Yeah, give it a try, and let us know how it goes. We can always kind of puzzle through this a little bit more together and give you some more suggestions.
Yeah, you can come back if it doesn't work. Just come back and we'll try again. Round 2.
And if it does work, you can come back with it.
Exactly. I can come back and tell you it worked.
Yep. All right, Dr. D, you ready for my favorite segment?
Sure.
All right, hold up. I gotta always struggle to find the little thing. I made this, Sarah. You'd be so proud of me. All right, here we go.
Okay, so for my last word, if your kids have competing needs and one of them is doing something that you want them to keep doing, even if it's making the other one feel badly, the first thing to do is to help the one who's feeling badly kind of understand the context of it. And if they're really little, try to come up with an analogy that they can relate to help them really get what's going on. And then once you've done that, really try to help them in those moments do something that's helpful for themselves that is really going to go a long way. So for example, when Sarah was describing that her little one is left alone when the big one needs some time on his own, having the little one know exactly some things that he can do on his own that are going to be fun and enjoyable and entertaining, and having those somewhere where he can easily access them, or to Jake's point, making sure that you've got the tools you need or the supplies you need around so he can do them, that can really help him shift and get into a better mood state quicker. And that will kind of help alleviate some of the pain that he's experiencing. And with practice, he'll be able to collect some data that, hey, I can handle this when it happens, which is great for him to experience and build confidence around.
Love it. Sarah, for being your first time on a podcast, you're like a podcast pro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You're already better at this than
I got
me.
it.
On your first
No.
time.
You can say adult clearly. That's a good thing.
I do. I can say adults.
Dr. D got Dr. Go with the jabs today. Oh my god. Sarah, one thing that we like to do for the people that come on the podcast is we like to send a book. So Dr. D has an amazing, like, so that's, I'll give you a quick story. I know we're running up on time, but how, like, so as a parent, I struggle just like everybody else, right? And how I ran into Dr. D was my wife, Sarah, bought some of her books on Amazon. I think we bought, oh my gosh, Everybody's Angry Sometimes, Everybody's Sad Sometimes, Everybody's Anxious Sometimes, a bunch of them, 4 or 5 of them. And we really, really liked them. And I just reached out to Dr. D to say, hey, these books are great. We love you. We love you, the books. You're amazing. And then eventually down the road, I convinced her to do a podcast. So the books are super helpful is what I'm getting at. Go to the website, pick a book, and then we'll send you one.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Pleasure.
I do appreciate that.
I couldn't recommend it highly enough. So Sarah, thank you so much for jumping on. If you haven't already, go follow Dr. D. She's on YouTube. She's on Instagram. You on Facebook, Dr. D?
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook, all the things. Y'all go find Dr. D.
All the things.
All the things. If you like this podcast and you like the information that we're sharing, please go find the podcast, the Parenting Puzzle Podcast. It's on my YouTube channel, Speaker Squad. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's on anywhere that you could find podcasts. We would appreciate the support. We love doing this content. We love helping parents solve challenging parenting situations that are unique to them and that have broader impacts across the audience. So we want to keep doing it. So please share it.
Share it everywhere.
Share it everywhere. Y'all go check out Sarah's TikTok. She's awesome. But I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all very much. Dr. D, you're awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I do have
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review. It really helps us out and lets others discover the show.